Now there were some interesting things about that head. We noticed that there was a serpent and a vulture on the headdress. Also there is gold and blue. Each of these things has a mystic meaning that tells part of the mystery of King Tut's burial. The serpent revealed the god of life, the vulture the god of death. The blue represented the moon, the gold represented the sun. All these represented fertility or life after death. Now, as we look at the symbols found in this tomb, we see the serpent over and over again. Why a serpent so often seen in the hieroglyphs of ancient Egypt? The serpent was considered to be the life giver. But there was something else in the tomb of King Tut that was interesting. Here we find a winged serpent behind the king in one of the amulets that was discovered in the tomb. Why a winged serpent when there is no such thing as a snake with wings? This is part of the mystery of the tomb of King Tut. This is King Tut's golden throne. We find the two armrests. On that throne are winged serpents. The question could be asked again. Why winged serpents on the armrests of King Tut's golden throne? As we analyze the life of the king, we find that he was worshipped as God on earth, the son of the sun god. And those winged serpents were to be covering cherubs on either side of the Pharaoh. They were to protect him. But they didn't do a very good job for King Tut. According to some Egyptologists, they say that King Tut was murdered, and his murderer's name was Ay, and that is on his tomb, the successor of King Tut. Now the winged serpent is found throughout that tomb in different forms. Here we have two stylized snakes with wings. They are called the divine serpents. They were in a box-like affair. Divine serpents, winged serpents once again, in the tomb of King Tut. We find that the ancient Egyptians lit their tombs with mirrors. The sun is so bright and intense in Egypt that when the mirror was placed on the entrance of a tomb and reflected, it would light up the tomb. This Egyptian gentleman had this mirror that bounced the light on the wall, and when I was there in Egypt in this tomb, this is what I saw. Two winged serpents on the wall of that tomb. Once again, the question, why winged serpents? No one can deny that these are not snakes with wings. Why were they found so often throughout the art of Egypt, and what do they have to do with the UFO movement? This is a good question. Here we see more winged serpents in the art of ancient Egypt. When the ancient Egyptian put legs on a winged serpent, they called it a dragon. And again, we know there is no such thing as a dragon, especially a winged serpent with legs. A dragon and a winged serpent in the art of ancient Egypt. They painted winged serpents at times on the caskets of the royal line of Egypt. Here we find a winged serpent painting, and not only a painting, this is another casket that shows a winged serpent carving. Notice closely, the body of the winged serpent is undulating. It goes up and down the full length of the casket. And here we find the head and the shoulders with wings. When we go back into the tombs of Egypt, we find the exact type of winged serpent with an undulating body the full length of the tomb. We find them in pairs. This represented the continual rebirth, or life after death. Now this is a marvel, when you find a winged serpent as a covering cherub over the god Osiris, the many-eyed god of Egypt. Here the winged serpent is seen as a covering cherub, as it was on the golden throne of King Tut. Let us leave the land of Egypt and head toward outer space. The vastness of space is beyond our comprehension, and many are wondering if there are other inhabited worlds in this universe of ours. Could it be that there are creatures from outer space that have visited our Earth? And is there such a thing as a flying saucer, a UFO? Many are wondering about UFOs today. What does it have to do with the winged serpent in King Tut's tomb? Did these beings from outer space come to this earth of ours to reveal the mystery behind the winged serpent god that we study about so often in the ancient cultures? Now, many have said that they have seen flying saucers. Some say there are 5 kinds of UFOs. These are a few pictures of UFOs. Whether they are authentic or not is left with you to decide. This picture of a UFO was taken in New Mexico a number of years ago. If it is authentic, it is one of the clearest pictures that we have seen of a flying saucer. This is another type of UFO. Here is another. Not all are authentic, I'm sure, but some could be. And they have been seen all over this world of ours. At times they have mystic designs on them and fiery red flames that come out of the rear. UFOs have been seen in Washington, D.C., around the White House. This was supposed to be an authentic shot of a UFO. Documentaries on TV tell about beings from outer space, and they picture them as this individual that you are about to see. Could it be possible that the creatures from outer space look like that creature? The story is told of a Big Bang and how our world was created. Articles come out such as this saying unidentified flying objects, mysteries from beyond Earth. Movies like The Outer Space Connection, startling proof that we are not alone in the universe. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Once again we read, we are not alone. Now, some individuals have tried to take the Bible and prove that it talks about UFOs. In Ezekiel 1 in the Old Testament of the Holy Bible, we read the story of 4 living creatures and a wheel within a wheel. Some are saying this is a description of a UFO, but that's very questionable. Betty and Barney Hill said that they were taken aboard a UFO a number of years ago. It brought national attention to the UFO movement. A man named George King, who is the head of the Aetherius Society, and is from England, said that he saw a beautiful being, dazzling bright, come out of a UFO and said he was Jesus Christ, and that George King was to set up the Aetherius Society, and this power would manifest itself through that society. and promised to return once again to this earth.